solving equations with fractions. So some of the help can be found if you go to Corporate Maths, and there's the topics and videos in 111 to 112. Or you can just watch this video and hopefully everything will be fine. So whenever we're dealing with equations, which has one or more fractions in it, begin by expressing each term as a fraction. So what we mean by that is if we've got like 2x plus 4 over 7 equals 8, what we want to do is write everything as a fraction. If it's a whole number, we put it over 1. So we put the 2x over 1 and the 8 over 1. And then what we do, we form equivalent fractions with a common denominator. So the common denominator between 1, 7 and 1 would be 7. So we put everything over 7. Now the 4 doesn't need to be changed, so we can just leave it as 4. The 2x, to get to 7, we need to multiply top and bottom by 7, so that would leave 14x. And then the 8, to get it as a fraction out of 7, we need to multiply by 7, and we get 56. Once all the fractions are equivalent with the same denominator, we can drop the denominators and consider only the numerators. So what that means is this just turns into 14x plus 4 equals 56. So that's going to be a much easier equation to solve. So we could take away 4 from both sides and then divide by 14. So let's look at some examples on this. So example 5a, x over 4 equals 3. So we want to practice this technique where we put everything as a fraction over 1. So it's going to be x over 4 equals 3 over 1. So now what we need is a common denominator, and between 4 and 1 we're looking at 4. So x over 4 is going to remain the same. Then to get 3 over 1 as a fraction out of 4, we multiply by 4, and that's 12 over 4. And now because the denominators are the same, we can simply say that x equals 12. So we know we could have done that by multiplying through by the 4, but for more difficult examples, that's not going to be the same, so using this technique is going to make life a little bit easier. So example B, we've got x over 3 plus 4 equals 7. So again, I'm going to write it as a fraction, so the 4 is going to be 4 over 1, and the 7 is 7 over 1. A common denominator between 3, 1 and 1 is going to be 3, so x over 3 is going to remain the same. 4 over 1, that's going to be 12 over 3, so we've multiplied top and bottom by 3. And then 7 over 1 is going to be a fraction over 3, so that's 21. So we've multiplied top and bottom by 3. And now because the denominators are the same, we can just drop them. So we've got x plus 12 equals 21. And then by moving the 12 to the other side, by taking away 12 from both sides, we get that x is equal to 9. Example C, we've got 2x over 3 equals 4 over 5, and the common denominator between 3 and 5 is 15. So to get from 3 to 15, the first fraction we need to multiply by 5, so we need to multiply the top by 5, and 2x multiplied by 5 is 10x. And then to get from 5 to 15, we multiply by 3, so we need to multiply by 4 by 3, and we get 12. So the denominators are the same, so we can just drop those, and then we've got 10x equals 12. And then dividing by 10 to get from 10x to 1x, that gives us x equals 1.2. Example D, we get 5 over x as 7 over 2 minus x. Now in example C, what we can see is that the denominators, to find the common denominator, we multiplied the 3 and the 5 together to get 15. So then we multiplied the top by the 5 and we multiplied the top by 3. So it's the same idea here. To get the common denominator, we multiply the two terms together. So on the left-hand side, it's going to be x multiplied by 2 minus x. And on the right-hand side, it's going to be exactly the same, so x multiplied by 2 minus x. Now, to get from 5 over x to x over 2 minus x, we need to multiply by 2 minus x. So that's going to be 5 times 2 minus x. And then on the right-hand side, to get from 2 minus x to x times 2 minus x, we're multiplying by x. So the numerator is going to be 7x. So now the denominators are the same, so we can drop those and we can just write it as 5 upon 2 minus x equals 7x. If we expand the brackets, So multiply the 5 into the bracket. We get 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times minus x is minus 5x equals 7x. To solve this, we need to get rid of the 5x. So we'll add 5x to both sides. And that's because we take the x to the side where there is a larger number of them. So the left-hand side will be left 10, and the right-hand side is 12x. What we do to get from 12x to 1x, we divide by 12. And if we simply put that as a fraction, we get 10 over 12, so 10 divided by 12 is equal to x. And we can simplify 10 over 12 to give 5 over 6. You could change it into a decimal, but actually the fraction is much nicer because it's an exact number. So example E, we've got to first of all write everything as a fraction. So the first two are already in fraction form, so x plus 1 over 3 and 2x minus 4 over 7. But we need to write the 1 as 1 over 1. The common denominator between 3, 7 and 1 is 21. So we need to write everything as a fraction over 21. So to get from 3 to 21, we multiply by 7. So we'll multiply the top by 7. You get 7 brackets x plus 1. To get from 7 to 21, we multiply by 3. So we need to multiply the 2x minus 4 by 3. And we get 3 upon 2x minus 4. And to get from 1 to 21, we multiply by 21. So we need to multiply the top by 21. And we get 21. And now the denominators are the same, so we can drop those. So you get 7 brackets x plus 1 plus 3 brackets 2x minus 4 equals 21. We can expand into the bracket, so multiply 7 into x plus 1 and 3 into 2x minus 4. And we get 7x plus 7 in the first bracket and 6x minus 12 in the second bracket. And that equals 21. We can collect terms. So the left we've got 7x plus 6x, so that's 13x. And we've got 7 minus 12. 7 take away 12 is minus 5. And that equals 21. 13x minus 5 equals 21, so we need to add 5 to both sides, and we get 13x equals 26. And then divide by 13, and we get that x is equal to 2. Example F, we've got a quarter of x minus 1 minus a third of 2x plus 5 equals 3 over 10. Now, if we were trying to find a quarter of something, that's the same as dividing it by 4. So we could write this as x minus 1 over 4. Similarly, to find a third of something, we have to divide by 3. So that's going to be minus 2x plus 5 over 3 equals 3 over 10. So now we've got our fractions. The common denominator between 4, 3 and 10, that's actually 60. So we're going to have to write everything as a fraction over 60. So to get from 4 to 60, we need to multiply by 15. And that's going to leave us with 15 upon x minus 1. To get from 3 to 60, we multiply by 20. And that's going to give us 20 times 2x plus 5. And to get from 10 to 60, we multiply by 6. So multiplying the top by 6, so 3 6s are 18. And now the denominators are the same, so we can drop those. So we get 15 upon x minus 1 minus 20 upon 2x plus 5 equals 18. So we need to expand in the brackets, so 15 times by the x and 15 times by the minus 1 gives us 15x minus 15. Then the next bracket, what we actually have is the minus 20 outside of it. So what we need to do is we need to multiply everything inside the bracket by minus 20. So minus 20 times 2x and minus 20 by 5. And we get minus 40x and minus 100. And that equals 18. So collecting the like terms. So we get 15x, take away 40x is minus 25x. And we've got minus 15. Minus 100, which is minus 115, equals 18. So what we can do is we can add 115 to both sides, and we get minus 25x equals 133, and then dividing by minus 25, we get that x equals minus 5.32. So 133 divided by a minus will give a negative answer, and 133 divided by 25 is 5.32. So the answer is minus 5.32. Example G, we've got two fractions is equal to numbers. So the first thing we need to do again is put the 2 as a fraction, so that's 2 over 1. And then we need to find the common denominator, and the common denominator is found by multiplying the denominators together. So the common denominator is going to be x plus 1 and x plus 2. Okay, so to get the first fraction, to get from x plus 1 to x plus 1 over x plus 2, we need to multiply by the x plus 2, and that's going to give 6 upon x plus 2. For the 5 over x plus 2, so it's already got the x plus 2, so we need the x plus 1. So we're going to have on the top 5 upon x plus 1. And then the 2, it hasn't either of them, so it's going to be 2 upon x plus 1 and x plus 2. And now the denominators are the same, so we can drop those. So we've got 6 brackets x plus 2 minus 5 brackets x plus 1 equals 2 upon x plus 1 and x plus 2. We need to expand the brackets. So we've got 6 multiplied by x and 6 multiplied by 2 to give us 6x plus 12. Then minus 5, we need to multiply the minus and the 5 into x and 1. And we get minus 5x minus 5. And then we've got 2 upon x plus 1 and x plus 2. So if we do the double brackets first of all, using FOIL, so x times x, and then x times 2, 1 times x, and 1 times 2, we're going to have 2 upon x squared, so x times x is x squared, and x times 2 is 2x, 1 times x is 1x, and then 1 times 2 is 2. And then we can expand that again, the 2 into the bracket, and we'll get 2x squared plus 4x plus 2x plus 4. We need to collect the terms. So on the left hand side, we've got 6x minus 5x, so that's x. And then we've got 12 take away 5, which is 7, so x plus 7. And that's going to equal 2x squared plus 6x plus 4. So what we have here is a quadratic equation, and to solve a quadratic equation we need it to equal 0. To do that we need to move the left hand side terms over to the right. So we're going to have 0 equals 2x squared plus 6x plus 4, take away an x and take away a 7, which is 0 equals 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Here we need to solve, we're going to try and do sum and product. So the sum is 5, the product is minus 6. The numbers that multiply to give minus 6, you're thinking about 6 and 1 and 2 and 3. And to give a sum of positive 5, it would have to be 6 and minus 1. So the 2 and the 3 don't work there. Got to factorise using the 4 terms. So we replace the 5x with 6 and minus 1 to get 2x squared plus 6x minus 3 is equal to 0. Split them into our pairs and do simple factorising. So we get 2x upon x plus 3. Repeat the bracket, x plus 3, and we need a minus 1 outside. And that's still equal to 0. And now we can write that as 2x minus 1 and x plus 3 equals 0. To do that, we let each bracket equal 0, so 2x minus 1 is 0, and x plus 3 is 0. Move the 1 over, we get 2x equals 1. Divide by 2, we get x equals a half. If x plus 3 is 0, take the 3 over, you get x equals minus 3. And those are our answers. So example H then, we've got two fractions equal to a number again. We're going to have to put that as a fraction over 1. And then our common denominator is found by multiplying the two algebraic denominators together. So it's going to be x plus 2 and 2x minus 5. X plus 2, 2x minus 5 is equal to x plus 2, 2x minus 5. So the first fraction already has the x plus 2, so we need to multiply top and bottom by 2x minus 5. So it's going to be 5 upon 2x minus 5. The second fraction already has the 2x minus 5, so we need to multiply by x plus 2. So that's 1 upon x plus 2. And the second fraction needs both of them, so we're going to multiply 1 by x plus 2 and 2x minus 5. So all the denominators are now the same, so we can drop those. So we're going to have 5 upon 2x minus 5 plus 1 upon x plus 2 equals 1 upon x plus 2 and 2x minus 5. If we expand all the brackets, we're going to have 5 times 2x and 5 times minus 5, which is 10x minus 25. And then 1 times x and 1 times 2, which is plus x plus 2. And then 1 times the two brackets isn't going to change anything. We've seen that in the 1 times x plus 2, it was equal to x plus 2. So 1 times the double bracket is just going to leave the double bracket, but if we expand that out, we're going to have x times 2x, which is 2x squared, and then x times minus 5 is minus 5x, 2 times 2x is plus 4x, and then 2 times minus 5 is minus 10. If we collect like terms, so on the left we've got 10x plus an x, and we've also got a minus 25 and a 2, and on the right hand side we've got minus 5x and plus 4. So that's going to have 10x plus x is 11x, minus 25 plus 2 is minus 23, and that's 2x squared minus x minus 10. For quadratic equations, we need them to equal 0, so we're going to move the 11x and the minus 23 to the right, and we're going to have 0 equals 2x squared minus x minus 10, minus 11x, and then plus 23. So that's 2x squared. The minus x and the minus 11x combine, and also the minus 10 and the plus 23. What we'll get then, minus x minus 11x is minus 12x, minus 10 plus 23 is minus 13. So we should try and factorize this to solve. So the sum is minus 12 and the product is 26 or minus 26. But sadly, there's no two numbers that will multiply to give 26 and add together to give minus 12. So we need to use the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. It would be worth our while at this stage to write that a equals 2, b equals minus 12, so minus b would equal 12, and c equals minus 13. So substituting those in, we get x equals 12 plus or minus the square root of, now to do b squared I'm going to put a bracket at minus 12 squared, minus 4 times 2 times minus 13 over 2 times 2, which is 12 plus or minus the square root of 144 plus 104 over 4, which is 12 plus or minus the square root of 248 over 4, which gives us values of 6.94 or minus 0.94 to 2 decimal places. And remember, the b was minus 12, the minus b was 12, so that's where that 12 came from. And we need to put brackets around our b so that whenever we square it, it becomes a positive number. If we forget the brackets, this is going to be a minus 144, and the square root is not going to work. Okay.